inú airport ní lọ security mẹ́. You understand? Wọ́n lè jí nǹkan nù báyìí. Anything, many things ló lè ṣẹlẹ̀ ní airport. Gbogbo nǹkan wọ̀nyẹn jẹ́ kí ó múlò yẹn wù ká lè sọ pé agbọ̀nlé mọ̀ pé ọmọ Nàìjíríà. Gbogbo nǹkan wọ̀nyẹn kò múlò yẹn lọ. Ọmọ ìlú òní ká lè sọ pé ọmọ Nàìjíríà ní tí wà onídò. Ìdí ni ìtàn òkú kálukú ọmọ lọ́lẹ̀ tí nígbà tí ó bá dẹ̀ ti wọ̀ tí gbogbo nǹkan yẹn tí kálukú pín náà. Bí a bá ti ẹ̀ pín, àwọn ọmọ tiwa tá a ní láwọn ọ̀dọ́ kéékèèké wọ́n á lè túlù wá sí fún wa. Gbogbo wọn náà sì wọ́n wà káàkiri ayé ọmọ Yorùbá pọ̀ káàkiri tí wọ́n ti rí ẹ̀ lot. Wọ́n ti learn a lot. Ṣé pé tí wọ́n bá padà sórí èdè wọn ó lè bíbí orí nìkan fi fọ́ máa dàbí ibi táwọn náà ń gbé tẹ́lẹ̀.
Mo rí pé a rí Canadian, Egyptian, India oríṣiríṣi ìlú. Ṣé èdè kan ní gbogbo wọn sọ bàbá mi?
Ìyẹn papọ̀ ìjọra wọn rárá. How many countries ló ń sọ English? Àlèkà bóyá ló pé 5. Kálukú ń sọ èdè tiẹ̀ tó fi ń tún lọ sí
That is Sunday Igboho, the Yoruba nation separatist leader, speaking in the United Kingdom. According to him, he said Nigeria is due for a peaceful breakup. He said corruption, insecurity, and bad economy are the reasons for the lack of patriotism in our country, Nigeria. And is calling that the various ethnic nationalities in Nigeria should be allowed to go their separate ways if the country cannot function as a unified country. Igboho equally said that the Yoruba youth have gained valuable knowledge and experience from traveling worldwide and are eager to transform the Yoruba nation into a modern, prosperous society similar to that of Europe. One thing I'm happy about the existence of Nigeria is that everyone living in Nigeria knows or have come to realize that Nigeria is not supposed or meant to be one. Even though the government of Nigeria tried to hide history from her people, people have realized the mistake that was made in the amalgamation of the northern and the southern protectorate by the British colonial masters. The call for the secession of Nigeria is as old as Nigeria herself. It has been from time immemorial. You may not be aware, but the northern region was the first region to call for the breakup of Nigeria. It is popularly called Araba, let's break up. This was followed by the Niger Delta region led by Isaac Adakaboro. The breakup by the Igbos is the most pronounced and the most successful out of all the attempted breakup that has been done in Nigeria. And of course, you know that breakup led to a civil war that claimed millions of lives. The casualties that followed that civil war led to the Igbos surrendering back to the Nigerian government. When Philip Effiong, the leader of the Biafran troops, was surrendering to the Nigerian government, he made a statement. He told the government of Yakubu Gowon and successive government that will come up that if they fail to address the concern, the issues that led to the initial breakup, that children, generation that is born after the civil war, will also demand for breakup out of Nigeria. Unfortunately, successive government after Yakubu Gowon have failed to address the issues and concerns that led to the breakup of Nigeria in 1967 to 1970. Those issues are still prevalent today. Those issues are still an issue of concern today. Why the Igbos are still calling for the breakup of Nigeria? They are not the only region calling for the breakup of Nigeria. Every region in this country wants to be on their own. The sensible Nigerians have realized that Nigeria will not progress as long as Nigeria remains one. They want this country to split. So it is not about Nnamdi Kanu or Sunday Igboho. It is about everyone in Nigeria. But do Nigeria need this breakup? Let's discuss. Whenever people describe Nigeria, they describe Nigeria as the giant of Africa. Nigeria is a nation of over 200 million people, encompassing more than 250 ethnic groups. Ever since Nigeria gained her independence in 1960, Nigeria has struggled to maintain unity amidst our rich cultural diversity. Of course, we know that the intention of our founding father was that Nigeria is going to be a nation where diverse ethnic groups could coexist harmoniously. The reality on ground has been far from their ideal. There has been persistent issues such as corruption, insecurity, economic instability, tribalism, political crisis, which has led to calls for re-evaluation of our nation's structure. And some people are advocating for peaceful separation into different countries. And of course, you know that one of such person is Nnamdi Kanu. But however, unfortunately, rather than listening to him to try to address the reason, the issues why he is calling for separation of Nigeria, the Nigerian government deemed it wise to arrest and incarcerate him for years now. Incarcerating Nnamdi Kanu will not stop the call for the separation and breakup of Nigeria. That is the reason why Sunday Igboho is one of such persons that has taken over the mantle to call for the separation of Nigeria and is leading the Oduduwa Republic to break out the Yoruba people from Nigeria. The reason for all this call is deeply rooted in our colonial history. The amalgamation of the Northern and the Southern Protectorate in 1914 by the British was an administrative decision that ignored our cultural, religious, and the linguistic difference of other regions in this country. The British colonial master did not put into perspective if Nigeria will coexist as one. All they care about is the benefits, the trade gain that the union will bring to them rather than the peaceful coexistence of Nigeria as one. This false union of the nation called Nigeria has resulted in decades of political instability, ethnic tension, and economic disparity. The worst of it is the civil war that accumulated in 1967 to 1970 between the Nigerian troops and the Igbos. Sunday Igboho and Nnamdi Kanu call for the separation of Nigeria reflect the frustration of many Nigerians who feel that our current system is unsustainable. One thing that has stagnated the growth of Nigeria and hold Nigeria from moving forward is ethnic and religious division. Nigeria is a multi-complex nation with her citizens deeply rooted in ethnic and religious sentiment. There is a deep-seated mistrust among ethnic groups and religious communities, and this has hindered national unity. This division often manifests in violent conflict and political power struggle, which has further destabilized the country. One of such is the Nigerian civil war that resulted in the killing of over millions of innocent civilians, especially that of the Igbo extraction. To date, we are still experiencing religious and ethnic crises and clashes that have resulted to the death of people and destruction of properties worth billions of naira. The ethnic and religious division in Nigeria has equally led to political instability in this country. The reason why we are not moving forward is because our leaders are voted in based on ethnic and religious sentiment rather than based on meritocracy. One of such unfortunate political instability events we've experienced in this country is the 2015 general election, when President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, a Southerner, was voted out of office because he is a Southerner and he was perceived to be an Igbo man. And President Muhammadu Buhari, a Northerner, was voted into office to take over from President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, even when it was clear that President Muhammadu Buhari lacks the requisite leadership skill to lead a complex country like Nigeria. Some misguided elements still went ahead to vote for him. They repeated the same thing in 2023 by voting in Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This ethnic and religious division, which has contributed to the backwardness of Nigeria, has contributed to other things we are experiencing in this country. Another of such is corruption. Political leaders in this country are not choosing based on their expertise, their ability to do the work, their leadership acumen, their antecedent. They are rather choosing based on religion and ethnic sentiment. This has led to politicians who are not even fit or qualified to occupy public offices, occupying our public offices. And when you have people who are not qualified to be in certain position, they will resort to corruption. Little wonder, with years of independence and democracy, Nigeria is still battling with underdevelopment. Corruption has become the order of the day. Everyone who has an opportunity to occupy a public office will see it as an avenue to loot rather than working for the people. Another issue we are facing in our country today is insecurity, and this is as a result of incapable and incompetent people leading the security agencies in this country. Service chiefs are appointed based on religious and ethnic attachment. People who have the capacity to do the job are not given the opportunity to do the job in Nigeria because of ethnicity. Today, Nigeria is faced with Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast to banditry and kidnapping in other regions. Our security challenges have become so overwhelming. Because of our security challenges, this has led to the decline of our economy. from having a GDP of $500 billion to now having a GDP of $199 billion. That is the history and story of the world's most populous black nation and Africa's once biggest economy, now sitting in the 5th place. Sunday Igboho calling for the breakup of Nigeria and the Yoruba nation is coming from a belief that self-determination can unlock Yoruba nation's potential. He believed that the Nigerian youth, especially the Yoruba youth, are now equipped with global exposure and expertise that is needed to transform the Yoruba homeland into a prosperous society. And of course, this is the basic truth. It is not just the Yoruba people, but Nigeria as a whole. We have gathered the exposure and knowledge to make Nigeria a better place. But the people that have held on to power for a very long time, they don't want to relinquish that power. And they keep allocating power within themselves. But they will not do the right thing. And they are preventing people that has the expertise, the capacity, the knowledge to do the right thing, to fix this country, to make Nigeria to progress. They are preventing them from having access to power. Imagine moving from President Olusegun Obasanjo to Goodluck Jonathan to President Muhammadu Buhari and now to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What a decline in political stability. Nigeria breaking up peacefully is not unprecedented. We have seen that before in the history of the world. We have seen countries go their separate ways. For instance, countries like Czechoslovakia split into Czech Republic and Slovakia in 1993 and the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991. These provide examples of how nations can part ways without descending into chaos. These separations were motivated by mutual recognition of irreconcilable differences and a desire for self-determination. Peaceful separation in Nigeria could allow each region to govern itself based on its unique cultural, economic, and social strength. For instance, the Igbo-dominated Southeast, with its entrepreneurial spirit, could focus on industrialization and commerce. The resource-rich Niger Delta could manage its oil wealth more effectively. Meanwhile, the Yoruba Southwest could leverage in its diaspora connection to build a modern economy. There are several countries in the world without natural resources that are rich and their citizens are living a prosperous life. Nigeria can also do the same thing and allow each region to go their separate ways and manage their resources that is inherent and dominant in that region. If Nigeria continue like this, if Nigeria continue in this status quo that we are now, the consequences will be very, very severe. The rising poverty, the worsening insecurity, the deepening ethnic division risks pushing the country into further chaos. If these issues are not addressed in a peaceful way, Nigeria is going to experience a civil war that will be worse than what she experienced in 1967. The sooner all stakeholders come together and speak for the division of this country in a very peaceful way, the better for Nigeria. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.